Hello and welcome back to Star Citizen, where we're having another intergalactic aerospace expo. We already had one of these last year and it was pretty much a blast, so CIG decided to do that again this year, thankfully enough. So let's go ahead and visit it while there's a M50 just hanging out here. I see. So there's back to the spaceport, but to the showroom floor we have to go this way. Alright. I see there's elevators and people waiting on elevators. Seems like Star Citizen. Anyway, alongside the Aerospace Expo, there's currently also a free flight event going on. So even if you don't own the game and the ship, you can still enter. But you'll even be given you'll even be given a Avenger Titan to try out, which I discussed some videos ago is a very decent all-around ship that has pretty much everything that you really need in a ship in Star Citizen. So if you ever wanted to try out the game, then right now is a really good time for doing that. I'll be probably doing more videos like this in the upcoming days. Also, since I have access to more ships now because of the Expo, I might also do some more ship talk videos about some rarer ships that I actually don't own. But we'll see that. Alright, that room looks vaguely similar to what we had last year. Alright, today we're talking about Anvil Aerospace, which is mainly known as being a military contractor, and a lot of their ships actually have a combat focus. Even some ground vehicles like the Ballista here, which is a Jesus, what's going on with my voice today? Which is a mobile anti-air platform, basically. Sadly, the range of the anti-air missiles is not that great. It's just a very few 100,000 meters, which is pretty much ridiculous. We even have anti-air defenses in existence in real life that have a way higher range than that. So they need to tweak that a little bit, because while they have a slightly higher range than most fighter craft do, it's really for a vehicle that is this specialized. I don't think it's enough range, to be honest. Anyway, we're already also familiar with that ship, the Arrow. I did own one. I actually don't own one anymore because I recently upgraded it to a Freelancer Durr instead. But it's a really neat ship, very maneuverable and all that, and the setup that you get when you get it and rent it for the first time is very much usable, so really nothing wrong with it. I'm not too sure about this one. I actually want to try this out. This is the Hawk. Looks a bit weird when it's in this landing configuration because it has really wide wings that kind of, extend out if you're flying it. But I'm actually gonna be using my trip here to actually rent this because I actually want to try it out. Maybe make a video about it in the upcoming hours and send it to you probably tomorrow. Alright, let's move on. I can see. There we have a whole zoo of Hornets, starting with, I think that should be the Tracker. Yes, Tracker? Your Tracker? Yes. That has a slightly blue paint job and it has a scanning array down below, so that's the Tracker, alright. Slightly scanning focus Hornet, and instead of having the center mount being a cargo pod or a turret, just has a dedicated scanning array there. Probably not what you're looking for in combat, but it has still 3 size 2 gimbal weapons, which is probably enough for most opponents if you can handle it well, but it's not particularly great at that. Here we see the Super Hornet, which is advertised as being as close to military spec Hornet that the Hornet is legally allowed to be. Instead of having the center nose gun, it has this very special turret that counts as a turret and also holds 2 size 1 weapons, I believe. Then, again, under the wings, you can put another gimbal size 2 weapon. And then in the center, we can sadly not see it because there's no ladder or platform that you can see the ship from above. But in the center, it has another turret that I think holds 2 size 2 guns on a turret mount. So all those things considered, the ship is a little bit more powerful than your average Hornet. You can also it also has a second seat, so you can take someone along, or that person can control the turret. And technically, the turret is as powerful as the turret on my Constellation Andromeda. But as someone who's been owning the Constellation Andromeda for a long time, 2-size-2 turret is really not that great. During the live stream yesterday, that kind of kicked off the CitizenCon. We saw how one of CIG's people was struggling to kill one enemy craft in atmosphere with an excessive turret of a vessel that we'll probably see in a second, that had multiple size 4 guns and still took a while to take down fighters. So yeah, 2 size 2 guns, not that great. Now this one's probably the Ghost then. Yeah. It's a little bit more stealthy. I don't think it has anything mounted in the center mount by default, but you could put another weapon on there if you own the Ghost. It's also slightly less heavy, so the maneuverability might be a little bit better. And considering the potential right now in the game, it's probably one of the best Hornets right now. And then over here we have the Wildfire, which has a special paint job. It already comes with the flashfire mount stock, so that you don't have to buy it and put a weapon on it. It's pretty much the only Hornet that is very much close to what the Hornet is supposed to be right from the beginning, but you're probably still looking to upgrade it to your favorable weapons, because this one looks like that's not laser repeater. It's probably, I'm not 100% sure what that is. It's not an Omni Sky either, so it's probably a bearing laser cannon, I guess. That one up there looks like it's a Gatling gun, I think. So yeah, probably still want to customize that. I kind of neglected the ship here in the middle, which is a new one actually. Placeholder. A placeholder. How you doing, placeholder? But it's the Piskies, which is Latin for fish. Yeah, if you go in here, you can actually see the name. I'm actually also going to rent one. Well, that was a pretty hack job that CRG tried to pull there. It's a companion ship to that larger ship over there, so let's actually... No, that's not the larger ship I was talking about. Where is that? I thought it was supposed to be here. Actually, seems it's not. Actually, seems like it's not here. That's a companion ship to the Karak. The Karak being the ship that was focused also in the presentation for CitizenCon yesterday. And it's pretty neat. It has some small cargo capacity. Also has some armament. I'm not entirely sure what the armament is, but I'm going to find out. Maybe make a video about that ship too. It's pretty small, so that it can still land on the Karak, but it has pretty much everything you need. Basically, it's so that you have a detachable spacefaring vessel that is a little bit bigger than the Constellation's small snub fighter craft, and it now also has quantum drive and possibly even jump capability, so you can scout ahead for your main vessel, which is really useful. So it might be just in the right size as a pretty decent utility craft, I think. Anyway, I don't think that's the carrier over there. It looks a little bit too small, but let's go over there and check what that is. Looks more like a Valkyrie, if you ask me. Yeah, that's a Valkyrie. Military dropship, basically. Pilot only has very few pilot-controlled weapons. I think these two ballistic guns are pretty much everything you can get here. It does have a lot of turrets, though, like below, on the sides, and stuff like that. Let's even go inside real quick. I'm not sure if I actually went into the ship last year, when it was already there. Whoops. As you can see, it has some capacity to store stuff, but it's mostly intended to store ground vehicles, maybe a little bit of cargo. It got the ability to also store cargo instead of ground vehicles to some extent, but it's really not a decent ship if you're looking to trade with it. So there's that. But as you can see, it's basically a dedicated dropship where it can, you know, carry a lot of marines. It's reasonably well protected with all the turrets that it has, and then, you know, you can just drop your marines to whatever ground installation you're going to hit. It's probably fine in the role as a dropship, but is that enough to have as a ship in your fleet? If you have a dedicated military-focused org, maybe. I forgot to put another ramp in here so people can actually just walk on there instead of having to jump on there. Last year they actually had a ramp, so that it just extended on the ramp. Oh, CIG, what the hell are you doing? So it's probably an okay ship. If that's the only ship you own, you can probably get it to work in pretty much any, because it's technically able to do anything. It's basically a bigger Cutlass Black, if you will, with just a lot more turrets, and also it has quite a lot of missiles, I think. But well, is that really all that you expect from a ship of that at that price point? I don't think so, to be honest. So probably not looking to upgrade into that. But it's interesting to have. If it was a ship that you could rent, I might consider renting it from time to time, but not like this. Anyway, what are you? Hey, look, interesting. Oh, a terrapin. I always forget how the terrapin looks because it's so non-descriptive. Terrapin is basically just a scanning and information running vessel. Basically, is the scout you send ahead to figure things out. Has a dedicated scanning station that we can see here. It doesn't have much armament, but I think it has pretty much fuel. But yeah, if you're just looking to explore stuff and just going from point A to point B in deep space, then that's probably pretty decent. That one is the Hurricane. Hurricane is an interesting idea for a heavy fighter that has some pilot-controlled guns and also a lot more powerful turret-controlled guns, because if we go in here, I think we're supposed to go in, no? How do we enter it? I think I've been on one of these ships like once, so not entirely certain how to enter those. Was it from below or something crazy like that? Ah, alright. You enter. You can enter the gunner seat from down here. Let's actually try that. Yeah, it just extends the seat down, and then you just get transported here. Well, at least from here we can take a look at the ship from outside. It has a really powerful turret, you know, probably one of the most powerful turrets that is in the game right now. But still, the question remains, is that worth, you know, wasting two people on one vessel? Maybe? I mean, with the fixed guns, which seem to me is 2 size 4 guns, and those are definitely 4 size 3 guns, it does have quite a bit of firepower, but is that enough? Is that enough for what you're trying to accomplish here? If you just want to do missions with a friend and want to just be on one vessel, then it's probably an interesting choice. Is it a good idea to buy one of these ships, though? Probably not. You know, renting, sure, why not? I'm gonna give that a whirl. If some of my friends show up, we might try it out together. But just like that, as a as a player-controlled ship, you know, if you don't have one in the turret, you just have 2 size 4 guns. I think fixed too, so it's really not doing much, to be honest. Against small fighter craft, I mean, against big fighter craft, that plus the turrets, it should be able to take care of things. You know, maybe even take down hammerheads. I'm not sure. Maybe need to try it out if a friend shows up, but that's about it. There are some interesting, notable absentees, though. Now, since we've gone around the entire hall, the Carrack was recently demonstrated, and at least the exterior of that ship already exists, but it doesn't look like we can look at it, you know? Last year, for some days when we had capital ships in the hall, you could at least look at them from afar, which appears as if CIG has decided against doing. Maybe there's a separate hall? I don't know. Didn't look from the elevator buttons like there was a separate hall. So for now, I'm gonna assume it's just absent. Then there's some other Anvil ships that we have seen before, but are also absent. One of them is a little bit of a weird one. The Gladiator dive bomber is somehow not there, even though it was flyable and was at the Expo last year. Also, the Expo last year, when showcasing the Anvil ships, also had the more advanced F8 Lightning, which looked hella nice. But this year it's not even there. After we had so much fun last year trying to get that ship out of the hangar. Such a shame. Such a shame. Anyway, that's about it. I don't think there's any other hall or something. Let me just check that real quick. No. Oh well. Anyway, that's it for Anvil. I'm gonna be taking those ships that I rented out for a test drive, maybe do a video on some of them. What I'm also gonna be doing a video series on in the near future is basically the game often in its advertisement material says, you know, you just need a starship. You don't need to invest multiple hundreds of euro, dollar, whatever your currency is, to enjoy the game. You just need to buy a starter package and can just play the game from there and earn the ships in-game. I think it's time, with the recent improvements to stability of the game and all that, to find out if that really is the case. And we'll be taking a look at that probably soon. Right now, I'm kind of planning... Let me just take a look here. Freelancer, Avenger, Constellation, Aurora, Hornet. Right. Just some golden figurines, okay. What I want to say, I'm planning to do a series about that real soon. What I'm kind of debating still is which language I'm supposed to be doing that in, because most of my Star Citizen videos have been in English unless I had German guests. And it has been going really well so far. Had a lot of comments and likes and stuff, all that, and all that kind of stuff. But there already exist similar videos in English already, and I don't think any German series like that exists for the current patch. So I might just want to do it for the novelty factor, you know, to get some more people in, hopefully. I don't know. As soon as you think about it, let me know if you have a strong preference towards either of those languages. Because, you know, I'm still haven't made up my mind about that. I'm currently preparing that, and we'll probably start recording for the first few episodes in a few days. So let me know what you think about that as quickly as possible, and we'll see it. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.